Hello viewers, welcome once again to today's episode of Women's View. It's always our pleasure to have you. My name is Anne Murimi and today's topic is Find a Daycare. Welcome. With me in studio today I have two guests and I'd like them to introduce themselves as usual. Ladies first.
Good. Hello viewers, my name is Flora Machete. I'm the administrator at Witty Wits Kindergarten. I hope you will enjoy the show.
Welcome, Laura. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And the gentleman to my far right.
Thank you. Viewers, my name is Stephen Adudi. I'm the founder of Find A Daycare.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Karibuni sana. So now you know what the show is, Find A Daycare. So we're going to start with Steve. Steve, tell us, what is Find A Daycare?
Find A Daycare is a platform. It's an online-based platform that connects parents with daycares close to them. The primary objective of establishing Find A Daycare was to assist parents find a daycare close to them. Hence the name Find A Daycare.
That's a very good name.
Thank you.
Did you have challenges when you're doing the business search?
Not really. The challenge was more of convincing the daycare owners to come out.
Okay.
And we still have that challenge, by the way.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Then tell us a little bit about Witty Wits.
Witty Wits Kindergarten is situated in Langata. We began in the year 2016. So far it has been a very passionate experience.
Yes.
We are quite new in the market. Anybody who knows for a school to be maybe classified or be told to be of age, you have to operate for about 10 years plus to get a good name and everything, but that should not be a discouraging factor because you've made it. All you need to do is just be passionate about it and avoid being too, if I say money-minded, in the sense that in this business it's more of passion than finances.
All right.
Yes.
So do you have children?
Yes, we have 30 children at the moment. From the year 2016 to now, we are at 30.
Actually, I was asking you yourself personally.
Yes, I do. I do have a daughter who's 9 years old.
Oh, so she's done with daycare already?
Yes, she's done with daycare at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve? Did you start this because you had a child, or is it because you wanted to provide a solution for other people's children?
The inspiration came from a very unusual angle. I had a laptop that I was doing part-time jobs with, and I tried to figure out how I can do a business that uses internet every day, but offers a service that is online-based.
Okay.
So I went online and tried to figure out what kind of services an adult or somebody with a family would need.
Okay.
And that's how the idea came up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So you did a research to find out a problem and then you offered a solution.
Exactly.
Okay. So who are the clients that you target?
Well, our target market are parents.
Okay.
And mostly I can say women, because we'll find a daycare, they're the ones who come out the most, looking for a daycare or looking to start a daycare or a school. So I can say about 85% of our market is women-based.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people in Kenya have nannies. So tell me, if I have a child, what age do you accept children from at Witty Wits?
We take children from the age of 2 all the way to 6, but from the 2-year-olds, 2 to 4-year-olds basically is just play. They're taught play, they're taught life skills. Yeah, for example, they go through potty training, etiquette, speech therapy, and such as things, basically life skills for that age. So once we begin with the speech, because you cannot be trained in potty if you can't communicate.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have to begin from the speech, because communication is all that is required to be able to be taught all the other life skills.
It's the foundation.
Yeah, it's the foundation for everything.
So as a young mom, I also have 2 children.
Okay.
They are also past ECD because they are 7. ECD is what age?
2 to 6.
2 to 6, yeah. So they're past that age. And I just wonder, what is your view between nanny care and daycare, pros and cons? If I'm a lady and I have a good nanny, and you've just talked about the fact that they're not going to be taught things like counting and numbers, is it better for them to stay home with a nanny or to come to daycare?
That is a more personal choice for the parents, because they've been with the children since they were born to get to the age of 2, so they understand their growth pattern and everything.
Yes.
So they'll be able to know, does my child need to go out to become more outgoing? Does my child need to go out and mingle with the other children to be able to get to the next stage, if it's in terms of speech, in terms of socializing, social skills? You realize when they're indoors, they get to the attention of the siblings, the parents and the nannies. But when they go out there, they meet other children with different personalities.
That's true.
And in that sense, they'll be able to learn how to deal with other personalities as well in that particular age.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's not just learning how to share.
Not only about sharing.
Learning about different personalities.
You know, my friend Liam likes to cry. My friend Sandra doesn't like this. So you get to start learning and understanding different people's perspectives, habits and how they live at a very young age. So it will give you a good foundation in life of how to deal with people in the future.
Exactly, because it basically opens up your world to diversity.
Yes.
You get to realize my world has actually just been my mom, my dad.
Yeah. The nanny, and my pet.
And my pet, if you have a pet, and of course the toys. But now you're exposed to a whole new world. Yeah. And you learn that things are different.
Yeah, and that's how, like you've talked about sharing, that's how sharing comes in. If you're not able to understand another person's character or take them for who they are, you might not be able to share with them. Maybe the person this particular child doesn't like sharing with me, but I'll take the initiative to try and make them share with me. So it's about you trying to understand another person's personality.
Exactly, and accepting the challenge as well. Yeah. If you're not getting what you want, how can you go about it? Yeah. It's really interesting, actually. Yeah. Okay.
So all those things begin at an early age.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. What about, Stephen, what do you think, should daycares have TVs or not, as well as gadgets, laptops for the children to use? What do you think? Is it good for people who are between the age of 2 to 6?
Well, my opinion in that, a number of people might not agree with it, but my opinion is we are in a world where technology rules almost everything.
Okay.
And children, very young children, know how to operate gadgets. That's
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes better than their parents.
Exactly. So you find that these things, in my opinion, they are necessary, not important, necessary, in the sense that the daycare owners can use them to educate the children.
Okay.
And there are so many applications that are age appropriate.
Okay.
So if you have a daycare, maybe from 3 months to 3 years, there are kids that are in a position to be able to tell sounds or songs, or their motor skills also depends on how frequently they use these gadgets. So in my opinion, these gadgets are important, but the usage should be monitored and controlled. Exactly. If a daycare or a kindergarten has a policy of not having them, Well, it's an institution. Every institution has its policies.
That's right.
You adhere to them or not.
That's very, very good.
Yeah.
And I like that you've talked about the issue of content.
Right.
The good thing, I think, basically, when you think about content, think about a nanny and think about an ECD teacher.
Right.
Who's going to be able to give better content, in your opinion?
Well, obviously, I'll go with the ECD teacher.
Exactly.
These are professional. I'm not saying some nannies are not professional, not
Yes.
all of them though. But the benefit that a child will get under the care of an ECD teacher cannot be compared to that of a nanny.
Yes.
Mostly the parent will make the decision based on financial and ability, yeah, to either have the child home or take them to a daycare.
Okay.
Yes.
When children come to your daycare, for example, to your kindergarten, because I'm saying Witty Wits is daycare and kindergarten.
Yeah.
Are you able to tell the difference between one who has been watching a lot of TV and one who has not?
I would say that is very difficult to tell until they speak to you and tell you something that they maybe picked from the media. Yeah, but for it all zeroes into the IQ. The children have different IQ capacities, so it all zeroes in back to the IQ. So it's not easy. If once during their first days and everything, when you take them through the if I might call them maybe interviews, although I would call them assessments, because you sit down with the child, you're able, for those who are talking, you're able to have a conversation with them, you'll know where to place them. There are some who come still in diapers because they are maybe still having challenges with communication. So our main agenda for that particular age is to bring out the speech in this child.
Yes.
Yeah, so that they're able to communicate to either their nannies at home, to say maybe when they want to use the bathroom, when it's time, when they're hungry,
Yes.
when they want to brush their teeth, simple basic communication, when they need to say thank you and please, which is a very important perspective in a child's life.
Yes.
Yeah, learning etiquette is very important. So they will not be able to practice or bring out their etiquette if they're not able to talk. So it all zeroes in back to the speech.
Yes.
Yes.
And when we were talking earlier, there's something you mentioned about when you're watching TV,
Yes.
the communication is one way.
One way.
Yes, TV is one way. So for you to be able to get maybe a faster way for your child, you see, as much as most of us, we put on the TV, we leave the child there to watch the content, whatever
Yes.
content it is.
As we
But
do
they
our
are
other
not,
things.
yeah, as we do our other things, and that is what I say, we are not communicating to the children. They need to be talked to for them to understand that there is a communication channel. We can talk, we
Yes,
can
it's an
exchange
option.
ideas. Yes, it's an option. We can exchange ideas. If I want something, I have to ask. But you see, when they're watching the cartoon, they'll see, yes, there's the maybe Peppa Pig is asking the daddy pig is giving instructions and the children. So yes, it has a bit of mileage on their communication and everything, because they'll understand the family setup and how the children are responding, or they'll know the daddy is the boss and stuff like that.
Okay.
But we need to bring it at home.
To
Let's
bring it home.
Yes,
We need
let's
to
bring it home. Then the children will be able to practice it even with their peers in the estate, in the daycares and everywhere else. Yes.
Yes.
To add on what you said, although I have something else in mind,
Yeah.
having dealt with so many daycares, I've had instances where a parent will only bring the child to daycare if there's TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you wonder why. It's because she wants to do an errand somewhere. So just keep the child busy until I'm back. And they even tell you the channel. Tune into this particular channel.
Yes.
Keep them busy until I'm back.
Okay.
But see, that is something a child could have done at home.
Yes.
You come to pay for it in daycare.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And I also think then keeping a child busy is the only way to keep a child busy for them to watch TV.
Not really.
Maybe
Yeah.
at home, that's all you as the nanny
Even at
or the
home.
mom you can think of, but what are the other things that children can do?
You see, if we talk about the very young ones, the 2 to 4 years old, TV is not even half to what they need when they get to the 4 years to go to school, because they need to develop their fine motor skills, which are very important. That's the most important thing, because
What
in
are
school
fine motor skills?
Fine motor skills are they'll be to build their muscles, to be able to hold the pens, to be able to paint, to be able to be creative, to stick and paste and everything. So in this case, Legos would work even better than the TV.
Okay.
Legos would work better than the TV. Play-Doh would work better than the TV.
'Cause you have to squeeze it.
You have to squeeze it. So your muscles are gaining strength by the day and everything. So when they come to school, those are the things that they play with more. TV, you can time it. You can time TV a bit here and there for them just to see, to get the content and maybe enjoy themselves because it's fun.
Yes.
Yes, but when you go back to the basic, what is it that they really need out of in this age group?
Yes.
So the developing the muscles is very important.
And you talked about the fine motor skills.
Yeah.
They're also the large motor skills.
Yeah.
Are they able to develop them a lot at home? Or when indoors or outdoors?
Even at home they can be able to do it because they can go kick the ball. They can have a mini sandpit at home.
At home?
Yeah, there are some people who have sandpits at home.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's why I said a mini, because they just turn a corner of the estate, of the compound into a small sandpit. So when they do that, and they can ride bikes, and they can, so there's more to TV,
more,
that makes the child complete.
That's right. Yes. And I remember when we were growing up, we all used to be outdoors a lot.
Always,
We
most
always
of the
used to be
time.
outdoors. And that's when we would be
TV
out there.
used to start at 4.
TV used to start at 4. So,
You
in
have
fact,
the
you
whole
have to
day
look
to
always.
keep yourself busy.
Exactly. And now I find that children tend to just want to sort sometimes wait to be told what to do, or that their first option is just switching on the TV.
But see, there are also some parents who find it difficult to keep one child busy. They say, the child is alone, so I find it hard trying to keep him
to
busy.
be their playmate.
Yes. Okay. So either get playmates or they buy so many toys that end up not being used.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's something interesting you mentioned, that some parents want daycares where there is a TV.
Right.
So I want us to discuss, when you're looking for a daycare as a mom, what should you look for to help you, guide you? Like if you have 2 daycares that are near you, how do you decide this one is better than the other than the price, let's say?
Okay.
What do you look out for?
There are a number of things. A major one being the legality. Is it operating legally? And does it have safety measures within the premises? For children, it's required that you are able to leave a child at a place, and them not being able to harm themselves is a sign that that place is child-friendly.
That's right.
So even when you have a table, this one is round, when you have a table with sharp corners, you're supposed to ensure that the sharp corners are protected so that the child cannot harm themselves. There are some toys that are they are old, or they are broken, and a child might harm themselves. So there's a lot to look out for, including the kind of caregivers. If you are a parent and you want to sign up for the services of a particular daycare, go there and spend time at the daycare. Observe the daycare owner or the caregiver. Observe how your child interacts, the neatness of the place, and is it in a location where you can say, if there's an emergency, I can rush the child to the hospital. Or does it have a compound? Is it gated? If it's not in a flat, do they have outdoor play area? There are so many things to look out for. So with that, you make the decision based on the...
Okay.
Yes.
One of the fears that parents have is that when they take their children to a daycare, the child is going to get infected. Is it a valid fear or is it invalid? What do you think, Laura?
Infections can be gotten even at home because they're playing with other children. You have visitors who are coming in with other children. And for this child to be able to build their immunity, to build the immunity, they need to go through that phase of encountering and fighting these type of infections. Most commonly is the cold.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the most common. And the ENT and also ENT infections, they are most common. But you see, if the child goes through that quite a bit, maybe let's say once or twice, they get to build their immunity. So now they become resistant. So they'll get to a point where they are resisting those kind of infections. And however much we keep them at home in the name of they're going to get infections and stuff like that, eventually when they go to school, they'll still get the infections and they'll still have to go through the phase to be able to build their immunity.
So it's a stage you can only delay it.
You can only delay it, but you'll still have to go through it.
You have to go
whatever
through it
the age.
whenever you meet a large group of people.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you talked about licensing. You mean there's some daycares that are not licensed?
Yes.
Okay. How would
I can
you check?
confidently say yes.
Yes.
And normally, when you find that a daycare is not licensed, they don't advertise. Only the next door neighbors know about the daycare.
Sort of like undercover.
Yeah.
Undercover. So we approach them and tell them, you see, when we advertise for you, somebody living in a different estate might want to move here,
Yes.
and they might be in need of your services. But they're like, no, we are comfortable.
We don't want to be
need
exposed.
To put, yes. So we stay away from them because we don't want to reach a point where we recommend a daycare to a parent and the daycare is not licensed and something happens, it comes back to us.
Yes.
Yeah. So assessing the situation at any daycare is important for us as well, so that when we are giving a recommendation, we know exactly what we are talking about.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's very important.
Yes.
And who is it that provides the license? Is it the Nairobi City County? Is it the Ministry of Education, the State Department?
Licensing for daycares is done by the county officers. For example, if you want to operate a daycare in Nairobi, you'll most likely go to Nairobi City Council. If you are doing it in Kiambu County, you'll go to Kiambu.
Okay.
If you are doing it in Athi River, you'll go to Kajiado or wherever. And the pricing for licensing varies with each county.
Okay,
Nairobi apparently is the highest.
Of course.
Yeah. So those other counties, they vary 5,000, 7,500, 10,000. It depends on your area of operation.
And I like the fact that you've mentioned different counties, because I think the early learning has been devolved, and that's why the licensing is coming from at the county level. Do you have clients outside of Nairobi, or are you just focusing on Nairobi County?
Well, we wanted to start with Nairobi. Nairobi has a very large concentration of businesses.
Okay.
Daycare is no exception.
Yes.
But given that we are online based, anybody in Busia can come online to find a daycare.
That's right.
Mombasa and wherever. So right now we are not just handling Nairobi alone.
Okay.
We are working with other daycares in other towns.
Okay.
The most recent one being Changamwe.
Oh, Changamwe.
Yeah, we
That's
have a
better
daycare
distance.
operating in Changamwe.
Wow, that's good.
So they are on board as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that means that the issue of daycare is not just, it's not an urban issue.
In
It's
my
actually
opinion, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we've had inquiries from Busia. Somebody wants to set up a daycare in Busia,
Yes.
but he still contacts us here
No.
to assist with the setup and everything.
And it makes sense because both parents are now working.
Yeah, yeah.
So you want to ensure that your child is in a comfortable and professional
Yes.
environment, even as you're working. That's good.
And professionalism is very key now that you've mentioned it in that business, because the reception you give the parents when they're coming. You remember these are very little children.
Yes.
Yeah, and the parents are still very attached to them. Some of them are first-time parents.
Yes.
Yeah, and the way you receive them and how the process that you'll give these particular parents when they're joining the particular daycare or kindergarten, it will become a lifetime experience.
That's true.
So you have to be very professional when you're dealing with them, both parent and child. Yeah, so professionalism is key.
One of the things that I have heard from parents is that the person who is employed at the daycare,
Yeah.
what are the minimum qualifications that they should have? Is it that it's the same nanny that would be in my home who is now in a daycare, or is it somebody who is certified?
Yeah. Yeah, they need to be certified. They need to go through the training and understand what it takes to take care of these children. So they are very, like for the 2 to 4 year olds, most of them are not, it's not in the new curriculum.
Yeah, and you need to discuss that, Steve, you know, that we must talk about the new
Okay,
curriculum.
so
Yes.
it's not in the new curriculum. So as much as you'd want to get just a nanny just to push the children through the day to the evening, but what are they learning? So they need a person who is certified and trained to understand how to prepare these children to hand them over to the next teacher,
next
level
of
when they are
learning.
going to learn and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. I hope you're enjoying yourselves and learning a lot. And please don't go. Just we'll be back shortly. Thank you. Welcome back, viewers. This is Women's View. Today's topic is Find a Daycare. And please remember that you can send in your questions or your comments to us via SMS, and the number to use is 21144. We left off talking with Flora that the people at daycares have to be certified. They have to be professionals to be able to receive the parents and the children in a professional way.
Yes.
And I think that is actually something that also is guided by the Ministry of Education, the State Department of Education.
Yeah.
And we must really talk about the curriculum. Steve, tell us a little bit about the new curriculum, and especially the elementary school.
Well, I'm not going to touch so much in it, but what I would like to point out based on the experience I've had with the schools is that the initial stages they had the school administrators had a problem with the implementation. Some of them picked it up right away, but a number of them had a problem with the implementation, and because of that there have been sessions of trainings either through the ministry or individuals who are certified to do so. So it's an ongoing process because there's been a big change, given that 0 to 4 years now are not really focused on as much as before.
Exactly.
And that caused some changes as well in schools and in daycares, because a parent would argue, what's the need?
What's the point of taking my child?
Let the child stay home until this particular age. But you see there's a downside to that. Like she explained earlier, you need to help a child become the person they should be in the society.
And you have to start early.
And you have to start early. So that age group is actually taken care of either through a daycare or a play group.
Oh, that's good. So the new curriculum is 2663, and a child can only start learning from the point they're 4 years old. So, Ms. Flora, tell us, what is it that is taught to a child between the age of 2 to 4? Why should I bring them to Witty Wits? What will they learn?
I'll go back to what I'd said earlier. That is life skills. Yeah, now life skills, Anne told me life skills is a big one.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to break it down in what these children are taught from 2 to 4 years old. We start with speech. For those who haven't, some are very fast. Some come from home when they've already learned their speech. So when they come to school, what we focus on for that particular, after speech we move to potty training. Because also again, if they were not able to talk, they still do not know how to communicate when they need to go for their nature call.
Yes.
Yeah, so when we move from potty training, they move in, they are taught other basic things like courtesy, etiquette or courtesy. They are taught how to say thank you, two words here and there,
Yes.
to say good morning, basic etiquette skills that are required for you to be able to survive in our society.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically speech is our main, because everything that you have to do, you have to communicate.
That's right.
Yeah, in that particular class, they're taught things like brushing their teeth, organizing their stuff. So when particularly, I'll give you an example like at our place. What we do in the morning when they come in, they understand that they need to remove their diaries from their bags. They're 2-year-olds, but they're able to do that and put it on the teacher's desk.
Okay.
Yeah, and put their bags where their names are. They are allocated lockers.
Yes.
Where they go and put their bags, and they change their shoes from outdoor shoes and wear indoor shoes. We have indoor shoes. So they'll wear their Crocs for class. That's what we use for indoors because they are comfortable. These are very young children. They are not able to sustain the pressure of a leather shoe through the day.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Rubber
Crocs are more comfortable, or any other type of indoor shoe which is comfortable that a parent might prefer.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I say they enter the class, they go put their diaries, I'm trying to talk about schedule or school routine. So they start to learn routine at an early age, and they'll be able to carry it through. By the time they're getting, for the 2 years that they'll be there, apart from learning to be creative, the speech, personal hygiene.
Yes.
Yeah, they brush their teeth,
hands.
washing hands, brushing your teeth,
Putting on your shoes.
putting on your shoes correctly and not chikoleko. Yeah, so
But chikoleko is a stage of life, eh?
it's a stage of life, but you see, once they'll get there, they'll understand how comes my shoes are always opposite. As I said, it's about social skills as well, because they'll see their friend wearing their shoes and they'll be like, okay, I think my shoes need to be like this way.
Yes.
Yeah, and they'll do it. So for this particular age, they have more life skills than you do because they're learning. It's an introduction stage. Everything is new to them. So they're learning basically everything from talking. So they're quite overwhelmed.
And eating, do you feed them or they feed themselves?
Yeah, we at the initial stages we feed them. For those who are not able, like I said, feeding yourself goes back to the motor skills.
Yes.
Because
yes,
if your muscles are not strong enough, you're not able to lift your food, you're not able to lift your cup and everything.
Yes.
So we encourage them to do it themselves, but with a lot of help from our end.
Yes.
Yeah, we get there. After a week or two of continuous in being in school, they pick it up and they're able to do it by themselves. We usually give them a month or so. Once they get a hold of the routine, they'll be able to do it to the end.
And I can imagine they're so proud that they can do those things
In fact, we get feedback from parents, and parents are like, okay, these days we are told, leave my food, I'm going to eat myself.
What a joy
Yes,
for a parent.
yes.
Feeding time can be
joy.
very frustrating.
Yes, but bottom line, like if I could take you back like to the curriculum, the curriculum, this particular curriculum, like Steve has said, it has a lot of parent involvement.
Okay.
If we have to mold this child to be an all-rounder, for them to be good in school and good at home, we need a lot of parent support.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should also, the parents at home should be able to take it upon themselves to be able to repeat some of the things that we do in school for the children at home.
To repeat
So that it can be like homework.
Exactly.
That's their homework now when it gets to that particular point.
To do it themselves.
Yeah, to do it themselves at home. So sometimes you can give them a challenge. You can tell them, take your shoes to your closet, and they'll be able to do just that. And leave them at the closet. Yeah, give them some chores. Yeah. tidy up, pick
Tidy
up all
up,
your
yes.
toys.
Tidy up is
Yeah,
part of
yeah, it's part of it.
instead of leaving the room and your toys all over.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then at that particular age also another thing that we do is instill discipline.
Oh,
Yeah.
how? By
Yeah.
what means?
Yeah, so parents think we spank the children. No, spanking
Spanking
is not discipline.
allowed. It's actually illegal,
child abuse.
right? Yes,
It's
that's
child
right.
abuse. If you were in another country or state, would be arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what I'd say, discipline is what you show the child. That is discipline. That is what they'll carry forward. So
What you do.
what you do.
Because they like to
They imitate
to
you.
to
Yes.
copy,
yeah, they copy you, they imitate you. So for the 2-year-olds, their discipline is very easy. Just, if I might call it just intimidate them a bit. Like, take away all their toys, keep them away. Let
out,
them, let them
you
sit in the
withhold
corner.
something they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
withhold something that they like a lot,
Yes.
and they'll, trust me, they'll never repeat that mistake again.
They feel the
Yeah.
consequences.
The consequence is more, I'd rather behave myself than go through that channel,
Exactly.
as
Yeah.
polite as it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically for the 2 to 4-year-olds, they have quite a lot to learn, and most of our moms and dads are working moms and dads.
That's true.
Yeah, very few get to understand and learn their children. That's why they delegate them to the nannies, who not all are professionals, not
Yes.
all will
Schools,
understand.
not all are even schooled.
Not all are even schooled, and not all will understand that this particular child, by the age of 3, they should be able to hold their bottle and the cup and drink. Actually, 3-year-old is not supposed to have a bottle.
Yes, no.
Yeah,
so, yes.
they are old enough to hold a cup and drink their water, hold a spoon and take food to their mouth. So some of those things, yes, they'll be instilled at home when the children are at home. But again, remember, when they do it as a group, as a community,
peer learning.
yeah, peer learning is very important. They'll be able to, and they can get in some sort of competition. They'll be like, I know my friend can be able to do this. Why can't I try it out and everything? Yeah, so eventually, for me, if you ask me, daycare works. And it
Daycare
doesn't
works.
have
Oh,
to be
the
every
benefits.
day, and it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yes.
have to
You
be
can
every
start
day.
with a few
3
times.
days a week.
Yes.
You can do half day.
exactly.
Yeah, so it's how the child will take it. There's some children who who have come half day, but they refuse to go home.
Because they're having such a good time.
Yes.
They're happy to have company.
Yeah, they don't want to go home because they're like, why am I not sleeping with the rest?
They want to sleep. Another thing
in
about
the
daycare
afternoon.
is sleeping.
Yes, sleeping.
Parents really feel like paying school fees and the child is sleeping in the afternoon, that is a road
It's
for them.
important for
It's
psychological
important for the
It's
child to sleep.
important.
Yes.
It's
At that
important.
stage it
Yes.
is.
They need that energy. And that's
They
when I hear
need
they
it.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, that's why, like, if I give you just part of my routine, after lunch, you brush your teeth and you go sleep for 2 hours.
Oh, they brush their teeth in school.
Yes, they do brush their teeth in school.
Oh, that's
You see,
good.
brushing teeth is not
Just
just
in the
taking your
morning.
toothbrush, putting in your mouth and scrubbing your teeth. What are you scrubbing? They need to know the motions and everything. So we take our
And the
time to teach
essence.
them.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
That's good. So, Steve, I wanted to ask you,
Yes.
in the previous curriculum, children would learn how to write at a very young age. And that is that something that is still happening in now, or are they taught that or not?
Well, what I've come to realize is that despite the change of curriculum, you'll find that how a particular school or a daycare operates is quite different from what the others do.
Yes.
So you'll find that if Witty Wit is doing that, encouraging them to learn 1, 2, 3 things, the others are not. They are saying you are still not at that age, or we cannot accommodate that. But it's upon the parents to also figure out that, is my child at a stage where they can do what is expected at that age? So follow-ups are important, because emphasis and routine work well in school,
Yes,
but at home you see there's some laxity.
that's true.
Yeah, so it's 2 steps ahead while at the daycare, a step back while at home.
You need to work together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's very interesting. So sleeping is necessary in schools, and are there some? I think that for that age group, 2 to 6, people still nap in the afternoon.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Although the children don't like it.
They do, and it's in their system that we have to sleep at this particular
They
time.
also know.
And the daycares that I visit, and they show me the day's program. I look at that. It's part and parcel of what they do on the daily basis.
Okay.
So the kids get used to that, and when they don't sleep at that time,
They become cranky.
they become cranky.
Children actually love routine.
Yeah,
Yes.
and some of them want to do it only if the others are doing it. Yeah,
Not alone.
Not
Yeah.
alone. If it's a group thing, then I'm cool to do it.
Everyone.
Let's talk about nutrition, because at that age, nutrition is also very critical.
Yes.
Right.
Stephen, what do you think? Is it better for the child to carry packed lunch from home, or is it better for the school to provide? Which is more? Which is better, if any?
The opinion is really split
Mhm.
in that, because there are daycares that insist they cook for the children.
Yes.
Others insist the children must bring food from home.
Okay.
Now, the concerns I've had from parents is that when the food is brought to the daycare, microwave is used to warm the food,
Oh, yes.
and they don't want that.
They don't. Not at that
On the
age.
other hand,
Mhm.
if food is cooked at the daycare,
Mhm.
they feel that the hygiene
Oh.
and then the variety of foods to
Meals.
be cooked, of meals to be prepared, is just too much for the daycare,
Okay.
because they have a feeling that my child will not want to eat this, so what alternative do you have?
Exactly.
Or the child will say, Mom, it was not prepared the way you normally do it at home.
I'm used to your style of cooking.
Yeah, so it's there's a very thin line, but daycares somehow, even schools, they find a way
They have a way of.
to deal with it.
deal.
There's also the case of allergies
And also, yes, allergies and
Yeah.
also junk food.
and junk food.
Because sometimes when you give parents the responsibility, they'll buy a lot of crisps because
Right.
it's easy.
Yeah, it's a quick fix for them.
It's a quick fix.
Just give them fries, then they'll be okay.
I know.
Yeah,
Which may not be very healthy at this
Yeah.
stage, because you want a balanced diet, you want fruits,
right.
less sugar.
Mm.
Yeah, because sugar also really activates them.
Yeah,
so-
and to add on that,
Mhm.
the daycares that employ nutritionists or
Oh.
professional cooks,
Yes.
of course this comes at an extra cost.
Yes, that's right.
So some say, no, let me just prepare the food.
Yes.
Don't, yeah. But
You want
see,
to save a bit of money. Okay,
Yes.
speaking of cost, what is the range? Can you give a range? Like daycare costs this amount of money, a range, the minimum to the maximum, or is it very varied?
before I answer that, I want to, it's very varied.
Mm-hmm.
A daycare in Kariobangi
Yes,
and a daycare in Hurlingham
yes,
will not charge the same
that's right.
because of so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I know of a daycare in Kilimani. They have a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
they have a nutritionist,
Yes.
they have a watchman,
Mm-hmm.
they have a cleaner, they have an administrator,
That's right.
and they have caregivers.
Yes.
This other one might only have the owner
Mm-hmm.
and a helper.
Okay.
Yeah. So the costs,
The cost of running.
the cost of operations really vary
Yes.
depending on the location and the kind of needs in that particular area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And also maybe the activities.
And the
I'm finding
activities.
that there are a lot of people nowadays providing activities to schools
Right.
at additional costs.
Yes.
Are those activities necessary, or what's your opinion on them?
They are very important because you see, you want to mold a child who is all-rounded,
Yes.
and this is the perfect opportunity for you to give your children a chance to be able to go through all the activities so that they find where their interest is.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can offer piano, you can do tennis,
Horse
you can
riding,
do
I hear
horse
horse riding.
riding, as much as, yeah. So it is all dependent on the parents' ability, because you see all these are costs,
Yeah.
additional costs to school fees, because you have to get like suppliers from outside to come and be able to
Provide.
yeah,
them.
to provide the
Unless you have
services.
horses. Do you have your own horses?
We
at
don't
Witty
have our own
Wits? You have to
horses.
get somebody
So
to
you have
bring
to
the
get someone
horses.
to bring horses,
Or
and
you
they
take
have-
them to the horses.
or you take
Take
them to the
them.
horses. Like
Yeah.
we don't have a pool. We have to get
hire.
To go hire a pool and an instructor.
Yes,
To
swimming,
do,
sports.
Yeah, to do it. So it comes at a cost, but it's very important. And it doesn't have to be horse riding. It doesn't have to be piloting. It doesn't have to be golf. There are so many things that can make a parent discover or a child be able to choose what they like to do. Some of them can just like to be
Creative arts.
Yeah, creative arts. You can stick buttons, you can cut and paste. So there are so many ways that you can be able to discover a child's talent. But to me, those additional activities away from books are important, very important.
Especially because you're not using books from 2 to 4.
Yeah, you're not using,
And you have a day, you have to
children have
cover
a
the
very
day.
short concentration span.
That's true.
So if you're introducing a new topic, and let's say, for example, for that particular day, for that 2 to 4 year old group is thank you. You only need 15 minutes to be
talk
able to
about it.
to put it into their heads that you actually have to say thank you, and you do the practical part of it. You have to do the practical so that they understand, why do I have to say this thank you? Is it important? Yeah, it's because I've given you something that you need to give me thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You have to be
so
grateful.
15 minutes is enough to give a group of about 8 children the information and knowledge that they need to get.
To get.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to ask you, when it comes to these providers,
Yes.
some people, it's an option, like you
Yeah,
pay
it's
more
an
if you
option.
want them.
Yes.
Are there children who feel bad because their parents didn't pay for them?
In my case, we have the, how would I call them, the paid and unpaid
Okay.
activities. So if your parent is not able to pay, like for, let's say, piano,
Yes.
you're going to do creative for that particular day. Maybe you'll make beads and you're going to make bracelets and
There'll be an
necklaces.
alternative for
There'll be
them.
an alternative.
So they won't
for
be
you.
sitting idle,
No,
watching,
they won't be
watching and
watching
wishing.
the, yeah. So for that way, even we can be able to know, is this child really interested in piano? Because a child in piano can say, I want to make a bracelet.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where their interest is. So that's how you come to realize, what is this child's interest in a particular thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Stephen, we're almost coming to the end, but I want you to share with us, what are some of the challenges of running a daycare?
Okay, the challenges, again, they are varied, because if you have a daycare, for example, I'm going to use particular locations.
Okay.
If you have a daycare in Kilimani, okay, these are places where there are homes mostly,
Yes,
or
residential.
residential flats, and the challenge might be your target market. You might have to reach out far and wide.
Okay.
So your costs, if you have to offer something like transport, will be inclusive
Yes.
on what you charge.
Okay.
And you'd expect that somebody who comes to use your services there expect it to be of high standards.
That's right.
So your maintenance costs, you have to be operating in a place where they want their kids to feel like they're home.
Exactly. Very homely, very cozy.
You almost
warm.
match what they have,
Yes.
or offer more.
That's true.
Other challenges is, of course, operating without a license for those ones. And it's very simple, but you see, when you pay for a license, it shows that you are running something legitimate, you have nothing to hide. We can bank on you.
Yes.
But if you are hiding, it's more of being able to afford
Yes.
to set up a proper daycare, and some people don't have that kind of capital.
Okay.
And the other challenge is not employing people who understand how to take care of kids.
Yes.
I might be very good with kids, but I'm not very good with kids under 3 years.
That's true.
Yeah. So they just pick anyone who says,
Anyone who comes
yes,
without checking
yeah.
if they have
So the
right
background
skills.
check is also something that is very important, because when there's an incident in your facility, the parent will hold you accountable as the owner. Yeah. Another thing is the marketing for them. Some would want to reach out to a very wide audience, but they are not able to afford
The marketing cost.
the marketing
the
cost.
is quite high.
But as Find A Daycare, we offer very affordable solutions.
Oh, okay.
And our intention at the end of the day is to help a parent who is in need of a daycare or a school,
Yes.
whether it's a one-time thing or it's for a long term.
So you actually go to vet the daycare to make sure that it meets the standards, it has been licensed before you market it?
We do the verification part,
Okay.
and there are some things that if we are uncomfortable with, we won't do recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to protect ourselves.
And you also
as
want
well.
the daycare, you encourage them to meet the requirements. That's the minimum requirement.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, you talked about staff. How come there are very few men who are in that group? Do you find that you have a lot of female teachers?
My only male is the chef.
The chef.
Yeah, the rest
Yeah,
are
a good
female.
number of them are chefs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a few are in the administration part.
Yeah, but the actual teaching, the actual impacting of the children with their life skills.
Not so many of them are involved in that area.
Yeah.
It's an area we need to improve on, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for the boy child.
Yeah.
You know?
Even in setting up the daycares, not so many men are involved in that area.
As a
The
business
cases I've
community.
had is when they come with the wife. So
Exactly.
it's a partnership thing.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd like you to give your parting shot, and maybe how can people also reach you? So we'll start with Steve.
Okay. Previously, people have mistaken us for running a daycare. Find A Daycare does not run any daycare,
Okay.
but we advertise daycares to parents in need.
Okay.
And our intention is to give them a wider audience so that they can be easily reached from any part of the country.
That's right.
Yeah, and we are very active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay.
We also have a LinkedIn account
Yes.
where you can check us out in any of the social media platforms.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
Okay, over to you.
Witty Wits Kindergarten.
That's a very interesting name.
Yes, it means learning in a clever way with a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yes. So Witty Wits Kindergarten is located in Langata in an estate called Ngei Phase 2. Yeah, so we take children from 2 to 6 years old. Yes, and we are also on Facebook, and Steve has been our major marketer, and it has pulled crowds for us. It has given us mileage. So for anybody who is thinking of going into daycare or kindergarten business, Find A Daycare is a good place for you to begin as your marketer.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll put you on the map. He'll give you mileage. He's given us mileage, and we have witnessed it, and we are happy with it. And that's why we are going to be on his new catalog that he's going to introduce.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes,
What
and
about
send
it?
it out to
Let me not show
different.
it.
Yes, send it out to different parts of the country,
Yes.
so that people can be able to choose for themselves what they think is appropriate for them.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. And one thing I'm happy about is that despite that area having very few men, you are a man. And
Yes.
you are leading the way in making sure that our children are in daycares that are licensed,
Right.
daycares that are professional, daycares that are making a difference, not only to the children's lives, but also to the parents' lives, knowing that they have peace of mind because their children is safe thanks to Find A Daycare.
Yes.
All right, I'd like to thank our guests today. It was a pleasure having you. We're very happy that you're providing a solution that is very useful to the women and to the parents with young children. I'd also like to thank our viewers. Remember, our SMS line is 21144. Please send us your questions, and we're going to be able to link you up with Find A Daycare and Witty Wits. Have a lovely day. Thank you.